Welcome to my energy update. And we are indeed in Joyous June, and we are very much in the heart of Hathor. So, the last video, I actually ended up on the video asking a question is where do you lack love in your life? To really bring that awareness of Hathor's energy and frequency, and the Hathors as a star being's collective consciousness, as the Palladium mothers, because the seven Pleiades are the seven Hathors and it's all one and the same, and it's all deeply connected into Venus, which is all heart codes. It's like this is the month where we really get to bring awareness to the forefront to see actually where do we lack love and what has been really powerful. I'm going to get straight into it because I have so much to share. I haven't left my house, right? Let me just tell you, I haven't left my house for a whole week. Pretty much, except to walk the dogs. Haven't seen anyone, haven't done anything. My husband's not here, he's in Zim. I'm all by myself. And it's like, don't want to be. But that was what my week started off as. It's like, I'm so lonely. I feel so separate from everything. And that's where it started. And that's where the journey began with Hathor, which is what I'm going to share with you in my video. Kind of this energy update is more like a check-in with you guys to say, listen, this is what's been happening on my side. I want to know what's been happening on your side since we opened up this powerful portal to the Hathors and to Hathor herself, right? So anyway, as I say, it's been really deep. And this is where Wadjet still is in our space. I said she never left because I was being guided by Wadjet to just take all of this junk and this old perception and beliefs, take it all out the way so your psychic vision can actually truly see, okay, what is actually going on here. And this is, like I say, the joke of it all is I was sat in meditation this morning and Hathor just said, there is nothing for you to go and work hard at, to go and make happen, for you to kind of like conjure up the energy so it manifests and it's here, because this is the joke. It is actually here. And Wadjet was showing me, look, take clear your eyesight, clear your vision. What you seek is right in front of you. It's just a lack of awareness, that prevents us for actually seeing that what we're seeking, we already have. So it's always been there. And that's what Mary Magdalene always says. It's written in all her books, and everybody that channels her, we all speak of the same thing, hidden in plain sight. That's the whole thing of this. So now you don't have to work so hard. You just have to slow right down and be super quiet to be able to tap into that frequency, to be able to see with the true eyes of heart of Hathor, to see that you were always there. You know what I mean? That which you seek was always there, right? So this is a really powerful energy update. So I'm just going to share with you kind of like what has really come into my space. So as I say, I've been in this house a whole week. I haven't seen anybody. I've gone out and walked the dogs, and I've been like 90% okay, well, 80% okay, but have the potential to not be okay. I've had a whole week of just ADHD vibrating. I have been in my office here and doing videos, creating. And it's come from such an inspired space. But as always, I speak about it often. I went from creative to crackhead, and I was in that vibration space where I was like, oh my God, I can't take that energy out of this doing. And that's very much an ADHD spiral, which pretty much we're all familiar with, because I think if you're all tapped into spirit and you all have a channel of some sort, which is all of us, we have 10 tabs open, and we can bring in way too much energy, like triggers the switch, flicks the switch, and we go into doing. And that's what we're actually deprogramming. So what I actually want to share with you from my first experience, which I have now embodied as truth, kind of gone, wow. What happened was I was vibrating, and in the end I was like, right, I need to go and chat to the mothers about this. So I took myself into my other office, and I sat down, and all of my altars are down there. I have one up here, which is actually the mothers. So it's always nice and comforting working up here because all the mothers are up here, and I have a beautiful altar just there being guarded by Ayahuasca the cat. And downstairs, we have Wadjet and Sekhmet, and we also have Hathor. So I went and sat downstairs to have counsel with the moms, and I was like, listen, I'm vibrating. I'm just not feeling my peace. I don't like this. And it was really bringing up all of this separation consciousness. And I kind of think I might be lonely. Oh, I don't know whether I'm okay with this. I'm kind of okay with it, but I don't know. And that was like so in my head. So I sat down with the mothers, with Hathor, and the Hathors came in, and they started to bring this white light energy all of this energy started to come down and really soothe my being. And I think I may have spoken about this in other videos. And, you know, and I've done it again and again and again. And it's brought this instantaneous alleviation from this doing, stuck in this loop, ADHD, like, oh my God, right away. I walked in vibrating, I walked out like, wow. And the big wow moment was like, holy shit. The only thing that was going on there was I wasn't in a state of love. I wasn't fully present in my heart. There was something else playing out, which was making me do this because, you know, when we go into a doing frenzy, it's because we think we're going to die. So because we are fearful, we try and control everything out there by doing, but you never really get to the bottom of your checklist to do list, right? It's just constant. So it actually doesn't serve the purpose, but we do, and we fix everything out there so we can have a perceived reality of safety. When actually that's null and void. That's not, you're never going to get anywhere and you're never going to get that peace. So what you have to do is you've got to come back inside. But if it's too noisy inside and you haven't taken the time to come into that inner presence and that stillness, then of course you're going to do that whole frenzy thing. So without me realizing it, I'd slipped into old habits and old ways. So I had a conversation with them about the ADHD thing. And they said, yeah, that it is a thing. It's a label that you humans have given it. But in truth, what it really is the fact that you're in your head. That's it. It's real simple. You know what I mean? So let go of the labels and identifying with the story and come into your being and, you know, just receive the love. So what actually happened in this meditation is I not only had a conversation and counsel with them when they explained this to me, but I received this beautiful honey in the heart nectar, white light soothing coming all the way into my being. And the first thing they said is, we're replacing what you've burnt out and lost because of the doing frenzy. And now we're actually bringing in the soothness and the soothing and the connection of just what it feels like to be drinking mother's milk. Do you know what I mean? And it had this really nice nurturing, like, oh, so that is in light of the question I asked everybody, in light of the name of this video, you know, where do you lack love in your life? Now, what I have been shown is I lack love when it comes to the creative endeavors. When it comes to creating, I start off really well and it's like, I love this, I'm so excited for this. And then it ramps up to a point where I've got no off switch and then I burn out. So what's going on there? You know what I mean? So I have had to look at the underlying issue, or rather the Hathors have, like, what part of me is lacking in love? And do you know what it was all about? It was about the sadness and grief, which is going to lead me to my next point, that was undealt with. They were like, you still got some sadness on board. And as soon as I went into it and I was like, oh, sadness and grief, I just cried and cried and cried and had this big release. And after I let that go, I was like, oh, I feel much better. And what they were showing me is like, it's that simple. You don't have to get into it. Do you know what I mean? I was trying to avoid it because I didn't know what was going on. Just got something shady going on in here and let me just avoid it by doing out there. But I had to address what was going on in here. So when I sat with the Hathors, they took me there and they were like, look, it's just a little bit of grief. Just, do you want to open your being and let it out? Like, have a little bit of a cough up that fur ball, which I did. And as soon as I did, I was like, oh, it was like trying to sit down on a pincushion. Just take the bloody pincushion off your seat. That's all it was. And I was trying to sit down. Grief, sadness. Oh, grief, sadness. Oh, do you know what I'm saying? So that was as simple as it was. So when I released that, I was just like, well, okay. Do you know what I mean? And then like immediately everything shifted and changed. And I have been so happy in my own space. Now this takes me on to my next point. Okay. So now what else I have learned to be true. Now I already know that when we sit here and we're like on our own and we're kind of like bored and we're like antsy and we're just like, oh God, it is actually an issue to do with the fact that you're not truly connected to self. Right? So think about it. So here I was still experiencing grief, sadness, and loss, which is making me feel slightly separate all by myself, singing that old song. And really, am I sad to be on my own? What's going on here? And then I sat with the Hathors again, and they were like, your truest connection, most deepest connection is that with self. That is your gateway and portal to all of it. So when you are dancing around that and avoiding it, you're going to put all sorts of things in the way to avoid that, because this is very subconscious. So they said, if you are really connected to self, you'll never be bored. you'll never feel lonely. Because if you're connected to the heart of one, then you can't lose anything. If you're a whole lot of whole, how can you experience loss? So I was like, this makes a lot of sense. So they said, so you've been placed this whole time. It's wintertime here as well. So everybody's kind of like underground here in Cape Town. But you've been given this time for good reason. And it's not for you to tread water to wait for your husband to come home so you've got someone to play with. Do you know what I mean? It's like you've been given this time to discover another layer of self. And this is what you're going to do. And I was like, wow, okay, so this is a real journey. So when they said that you're not connected to self, and that's why you're itching around, because boredom is impatience, which will lead you to go and like, let me go shopping. Yeah. Let me go out and have a few glasses of wine with a friend and just get drunk. You know what I mean? Or whatever it might be. Let me go and, distract myself. You know what I mean? It's like all of these things that you think are kind of like just living life are not necessarily if there is no connection to self, right? So that's what it's all about. We have to be connected to self. So that's what they showed me. They're like, yep, you're going to be in this house and you're going to like learn to love these really quiet times, because once you've really connected in with that, anything else is sweets and gravy. And it's all just like a bonus. And I look at this and I kind of go, what the fuck? This is amazing. Because as you know, in my previous videos, kids left home, lost all the animals and everything like that. And it was just exposing loneliness. And in my mind, I'm going, oh shit, this is going to be brutal because I'm going into wintertime here. My husband's not going to be around, which is a lot of the time anyway. There's no kids here to distract me. There's no animals here. Well, I have animals, but just not as many. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, oh shit, what does that mean? And then it was like, well, it means that you have to have a whole lot more for yourself. More love for yourself, and a whole lot more for yourself, that as well. So I think that's quite incredible. So that is a process that I'm going through right now of really connecting into that part of me and loving me so much that it's unconditional love for me. And that is that not wanting to sit with myself has been a block to my joy, basically. And now I'm waking up in the morning and I'm like, morning world, what are we doing today? I talk to my animals as if they're humans. Some people may think I've lost the plot, but I think I'm just turning to Snow White, having the best time. And it's like all of a sudden I don't feel this loneliness. I walk past the trees on the green belt. They're my people. Do you know what I mean? Since I got back from the Zambezi, I think this is all part of it. You can have your own version of this. It's all connecting into self. Who am I really? Where's my joy? And I want to know what's in the way of that. Do you know what I mean? So that's what Hathor is doing, shining her light on all of these things, right? So connecting with self, no loss, you are always okay. And we need to figure out what is in the way of true connection with your heart. What is in the way of you really bringing joy into that project? What is in the way of really embracing the sacred counterpart relationship that you're in? What is really in the way with you and your body? Why don't you love your body? Do you know what I mean? And all of these things. So I really want us to shine this light of Hathor on everything. And that's what I also want to share with you, coming to my last 2 points now. What I've also come to realize with Hathor, I've always been very connected with her, but not like Sekhmet, which is obviously that's just a given. I will always be super, super, super connected to Sekhmet. And I don't think any other frequency will be the same because she's my signature frequency. I understand that. But with Hathor, I've always been connected, but I've always felt like she's on reach, and I'm just like, I'm waiting for that click in, that aha moment with her. And she said to me, it was never going to come until you were ready. And I was like, what do you mean? Because this is the depths of you. Think about the process and the journey. And we will use Sekhmet and Wadjet as a ascension ladder, as it were. Sekhmet comes in, burns away all the blockages. She's just like, right, your life's in chaos. There's blockages everywhere. Let's just burn everything and just get rid of it all, which is what Sekhmet does. And yeah, you're scared, you're fearful of being on your own, you're fearful of spirit, you're fearful of being loved or whatever it might be. Sekhmet's like, here you go, burn everything, lose everything, there's a whole lot of grief. And I'm like, oh my God. In comes Wadjet. So now Wadjet says, you've got to change your perception. What are you doing here? Do you know what I mean? This vision must be, see everything in beauteous glory, joy, love, all of the things. You got to shed your skin and you got to activate that Kundalini rising to step into the full sovereignty and power of who you be. Because unless you do that, you can't accept who you truly are. We did that trial by fire. We're still in it. In comes Hathor. Oh, So now Hathor is, remember, our very, very, very first incarnation we ever had coming into this life. That is deepest connection to the Pleiadian mothers. That's the encodements that we have in our DNA. The absolute foundation of each and every one of us, man and woman, is the divine feminine encodements, right? It's in our DNA. So as we know, our first incarnation here, we came from the Pleiadian mothers. Pleiadian mothers are the 7 Hathors and so on and so forth. So you see how Hathor is there's a reason why she's one of the oldest goddesses in the Egyptian Hathor. But then when you go beyond her, beyond Gaia, you then connect into the starseed consciousness, which is the origin source codes, right? Which is where we all came from. So no wonder there hasn't been as powerful connection with Hathor for Marie, because there was a journey that had to go through. So this teachings and wisdom teachings of Hathor, I have to say, is distinctly different to Sekhmet and Wadjet, because those are really powerful initiations, and we got to get through all the resistance and blast the blocks. But what I will say is that the teachings of Hathor is so deep and nurturing and soft, and just like, it's deep, it's powerful, it's no less powerful, but it is just, it comes from a very, very, very deep place. I can't describe it any other way. And it's not it's a slow burn, even though she's not burning, it's water. And it's just like, her teachings are just like, that's all I can say. So she's very, very different, very, very different. The Hathors are showing us in a very, very different energy and frequency. It's like, this is the absolute divine core of each and every one of us. And I'm really happy that we're in Joyous June. So, you know, like, this pathway to this consciousness that I'm talking about is about looking inward, not outward. So I finished this video by saying, and I'm quoting my teacher from a long time ago, and I was looking at old notes today, and I was like, oh, I like what she said there. Compare equals despair. Compare, despair. So if you're comparing yourself to anyone or anything out there, right, then you're going to be in despair. That's an external environment or an external perception. If you come in to love, this is an internal deep journey. It's party for one, even though it's not in separation consciousness, it's party for heart of one. Because when you're in here and you're kind of like curled up and you're looking deeply within you, that you're not worried about your left lane or your right lane or whatever, right? So can you understand the journey she's taken us through? So I'm quite blown away. I was going to say mind blown, but I'm heart blown that this is happening. So this is my energy update of what's been happening my end. Let me know how it's going for you. And then also, just to finish, I think it's tomorrow that's coming out. There's a video between me and my daughter Ava, starseed parenting, kind of on this motherhood vibe right now, because that's what Hathor brings us. But remember, even if you don't have children, okay, you are a mother to many. I think most of the powerful mothers that I know are either in men. Okay, so let's not get it twisted gender-wise, men, and also the women that don't have children, I think, are more of a mother than the ones with children. Do you know what I mean? So expand into that. What does mother energy mean to you? And do you need some nurturing and some mother's milk? Somewhere where you just need to just receive a little bit more than what you're doing. So let's keep this vibe of Hathor, heart of Hathor, honey in the heart. Let's keep it going. Video comes out tomorrow with me and Ava, and I'll be sharing other videos with my son, because I just think it's like, yeah, it's all relevant, is it not? Anyway, with much love in my heart from me to you. See you on the next video. Peace.